session today. As usual, we have you back. Last year, we had you on the interaction, on the interactive session, but we have tried to moderate the program better and organize it better this year. And this year, I am happy to say that we have structured it to be basically about career, mentoring for scholars and for leaders. So that is the idea that we have developed out of our past experience, and it has been a wonderful experience as we have the people joining, the people showing interest, the people actually subscribing to this very program this year. And our target, like we have said, is a 1 million participants. I asked my team, is it possible? They told me it is very, very possible, but we need to strategically move and add value to whatever we are doing. And that's the reason why I want to welcome you formally to today's session, which is like a performing arts. And he has used the talent and artistic prowess to actually pass critical information about youth development. He is on his way back from US to Nigeria. If he is able to join us, he is going to also join us for the guest session. But we are happy to have all of you here, and we are happy that we have started this very journey on a very successful note. And yes, before we allow our guests to start the sessions, I want to relay the message of the chair, that is Dr. Abdul Manaf, that he is with us, and he is passionate about the very program. He talked to me 30 minutes before this very session, and he said that to all participants, there are a lot of packages that he is having for us, and also to all our guests. We are going to have a private session with him later when we have stabilized on our execution of the programs. So let's start the journey now. The journey starts now. Dr. Fausto Atiku, we are pleased to meet you. Let us have your career journey and what we can share from it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. So, nice to meet everybody here. And I'm Fausto. I have multiple PhDs, I have multiple masters. I work in Silicon Valley, at IBM TJ Watson Research Center in New York for the US government. And 6 years ago, I decided to move from deep tech to biotech. And therefore, here in London, I joined GSK, that is a big pharmaceutical company, as Global Head of Innovation and Data Science. During the years, my career essentially changed from being a mathematician and computer scientist to move to leadership and executive roles, where I had to build teams and deliver products from 0 to 1. But a very important thing is there were very challenging moments. And for all of you that are starting that journey, I would like to say that those are minor things. If you can pull through them, and we can discuss more later what are skills that can help you to do that, because what is beyond the PhD opens a lot of opportunities, and having a PhD is very, very important. It's very important for a lot of different reasons, but mainly because it's going to form you as a person able to overcome challenges in a way that is not possible if you stop at the master or at the bachelor level. So this was a little of my career journey. Today, in addition to that, I have a lot of fractional roles outside the company for which I'm working for, and I build a network between investors and startups, and I do a lot of business development, because essentially, as you progress in your career, you discover it doesn't matter how big team you have reporting to you, can be 90 plus people or more. You always need some kind of external partnership and the creation of a business ecosystem to essentially have a big impact in the world. That is probably the biggest goal about helping people and making the world a better place to actually live. So thank you very much for inviting me here today. I'm honored, and I'm very happy to help in any kind of possible way that I can. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much for that very wonderful brief about your career journey, and we are going to come back for more questions about that. Then let me go straight to Dr. Swagata Roy.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all, and thank you again for inviting me. So yeah, my career journey or my career, I'll say, started after my master's degree and before my PhD, where I joined in one of the premium institute in India called Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, which is kind of quite famous for the research and academics as well. So there I worked as a research assistant for a few years before I joined PhD in UK. So there basically I learned kind of, I'll say, quite a lot of basic techniques in research or in science, I will say, and also a little bit of administrative work there. And following that, I joined, I'll say, in my PhD, and that was kind of a big jump or big leap in my career, I will say, where from directly India, I moved to UK in Scotland, Glasgow, and there I worked mainly on leukemia. And there also I had few collaborations from different universities, where again it is kind of taught me in my career, I will say that how to kind of deal different situations, different environment in the lab, like you're working or you're comfortable in your own lab and then going to the other lab and in your collaborators lab, and then how to kind of manage the things there and all these things. Following that, I have done a few postdocs, one of them in University of Oxford. There also I worked on leukemia. My basic research was on leukemia. So there also I worked, and also I developed my stem cell research in Oxford, as well as next generation sequencing, data analysis, sample processing, that kind of thing. So all these things, especially when you are dealing with samples, patient samples, so you have to be very careful. You should be knowing, or you should have that skill of how to kind of deal with those patients gently, and as well as not relieving the data to the outside world, because patient samples or patient name or their informations are very crucial. So these kind of as and when I kind of was going through these steps, so I have learned quite a lot in these aspects. So following that, I moved back to India for a few years, thought of settling down in there because of my, family matters. So there also I had my own lab, and then there I learned quite a lot about the administrative role and the management, people's management, how to kind of uh, organize or develop or build a lab basically from scratch. So as I said, like along the way, I have kind of learned and gained quite experience. But definitely one thing I will say, especially for the aspiring PhD students or even for undergraduate or postgraduate students, is work hard. That is the one and only thing I will say. And after that, I came back to UK again as a research scientist, and then worked on avian leukemia. And after that, the COVID hit, so I joined in one of the state of the lab, I will say, from the UK government, which kind of used to process samples from COVID patients, and we were the kind of forefront in the whole system in processing samples, starting from sample receipt and giving the data, or giving the results to the patient. So we have, like, during almost 2 years, I worked there, and then we have processed almost 8.5 million samples, and it was a 24/7 lab. So which was kind of very, and the main other important thing I must say here, that when I joined that lab, it was kind of, they were just building, because many labs, they have kind of started like that, because mm, we never knew that COVID is going to hit, or it became a global pandemic. So many labs, it started from the scratch. It's just a kind of a warehouse, big warehouse, and slowly they started to build into a lab. And within 6 months, they transformed into a lab, and we were the part of it. So a lot of hard work. There are a lot of struggles to get to there, but it was very, very satisfactory. And finally, we could manage, or I'll say we could achieve to process 8.5 million samples in that lab. So yeah, so that was a great, I'll say, achievement in my career. And following that, when now COVID has died down, so we all know that. And now I have recently joined as a technical team leader in one of the universities in UK. And so that is another, like, that was a kind of analytical chemistry, pharmaceuticals in that area. So yeah, so that is kind of in a very short or brief thing. So yeah, and if you have any questions, or I'll be happy to join in the next session as well. Yeah, thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much. Like I said, we are here to learn and we are here to gain certain experience. I move straight now to Dr. Sahir Banu. Dr. Sahir Banu, sir, ma.
Thank you, Dr. Then start the education again. I just finished my bachelor's and then I start the next day my master's. I finish my master and then I next day start my PhD. So how I compensate the career, like jobs and the education, I work alongside my education. Like when I was in the master degree, I was working as a visiting lecturer of biostatistics in one of the institute in Pakistan. Then I moved to Turkey regarding my PhD. While I was in a PhD or even the master's, I keep on working with the different organizations, like I was involved in the organization inside the universities and the outside the universities. We were keeping on like organizing the seminars, workshops. I was the ambassador student regional group and so many other groups. So, and the National Academy of Young Scientists. And then when I moved to Turkey, I also keep on doing some other stuff with my education, the training, the repurposing, and the counseling. Then I moved to America in MIT. Again, it was a part of my PhD, but I didn't stop there. I make my connections. I was enrolled in the healthcare venture, which was the 8-week course, which give you like the insight and complete guideline for the entrepreneurship. So, excuse me. So I work along with my PhDs, my all degrees. Now, after finishing my PhD, I moved to UAE. And in the UAE, I started with the Fujairah Research Center. So the Fujairah Research Center was starting when I joined. And the things were not so clear. So all the things were like built when I was there. So I saw everything building there. And I know I got all the information, all the knowledge. So my director, he was very kind and he was like a very nice teacher as well. So you learn from them. And now I'm working as a head of the academics and training departments. What I do there, I train the individuals, starting from synopsis to project definition to budgeting to the methodology definition and making everything as a research paper. And at the end of the day, the project should bring some product for the market. So for this thing, I learned throughout my career how to deal with people. That's the main thing that help you even in the training section. That's a success actually. You know who you are dealing to, and you know how to deal with the people and different kind of people. For example, while if I give you example of my training, from my training, um, there are some people who are of different intellect level, and there are some people who are different intellect level. Some people are genius in one thing. I won't say some people are more genius, some people are less genius. Everyone is genius, but their genius, their department is different. Like some people are street smart, we say some people are book smart, not like that. And I always believe on the strategy, like if a tree is not giving you mangoes, it means it's not a mango tree, something else. So you have to treat it something like based on the nature of the tree. So that's that way, that's the success for me, Like I just get the interview of the people and know the people and then start realizing what kind of treatment the person will be needing and how to do this thing. And of course, I still keep on learning from my own experiences and the people like you, and which is a very good experience. Thank you.
Wow, 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 wow. Thank you so much. We are having different combination of naturally talented scholars and leaders here today, because I could see that the individuals are scholars, individuals are leaders in different dimensions of experience. Thank you so, so much. Let me formally recognize the presence of one of our global guests last week, and that is Engineer Yewa Mohammed. Thank you for joining us this today. And I want to also recognize the presence of one of our senior colleagues in the university and also one of our guests, but his schedule will be in the future. That is Dr. Mohammed Rufai. Thank you so much for joining us. And also, one of our dear future guests and also one of our members here in Nigeria University, that is Dr. Flavius Nkobli. Thank you so much for joining us. And also, I will be recognizing all other participants when we are getting into the business of the participant interaction. Yes, I have discovered something that I want us to focus on for each of our guests to maximize their presence here today. To Dr. Fausto Atiku, the section of the 10 minutes of talking about the skill of your career. One striking point that I want you to shed light more on is the aspect of working on a project that actually earned Nobel Prize. How did it happen? What are the experiences that you can share on that? If a scholar is targeting, like, okay, in our team, we are targeting that we want to actually win a prize, or we're actually not contesting, that we want to do something that will be much recognized in the global community of science or scholarship. How will it happen? How did it happen in your own experience? Thank you.
Right. So there are different situations, in my opinion, how that can happen. If you wanna win a Nobel Prize, it's a long path. They're not going to give you a Nobel Prize for just the delivery of a project or a set of activities. It's more a whole portfolio of things that you develop during time, but it's important to have them of the highest quality, and they need to be connected to some kind of global important social impact for the whole community at large. So that is a much longer journey than some other opportunities that I can describe, and that can help you in different ways, but that potentially could be aligned to winning a Nobel Prize. So many of you maybe want to remain in academia, right? So there is a need to raise funding, align your scope of research with the availability of funding and for what that funding is or could be. But there are also opportunities on the entrepreneurial side of things, where essentially you can have spin-offs from the university or produce research that is paid but connected to industry. And that is another opportunity where essentially you can start to have your own thing or forge your career path. It is not the purely academic one. That could bring you wealth and make you rich. And at the same time, even if it's not going to give you a Nobel Prize, would allow anyway to create a big impact for society and align you and open for you some doors in other sectors that are not academic one, but that are really going to turbocharge the possibility of transformation for the community in a way that is not based on only pure research, but is also connected to practicality in the market in much shorter time frames than the one that instead could be generated if you need to win a Nobel Prize, because tech transfer from university usually is lower than tech transfer if you do research directly with industry compared to only academia. Say that, um, one thing that I learned is that many times we think there is a way to achieve some specific objectives and goals. Doesn't matter if it's Nobel Prize, building our company, and therefore being an entrepreneur, and so on. But I found that our mind is very limited. The universe is way, way better to answer to us. And so keep always a very open mind, in the sense that there is not only one path. And if you start to think there is a specific way of doing a thing, you try to self-correct every time things are not really going or appearing not going as you were predicting and you were thinking had to work out in your mind. And that generates a lot of stress and is to limit your options. You have no idea how many times, like going to events, trying to network with people that I did not know, opportunities started to appear. And the work that I did with Michael J. Prater, that is a Nobel Prize winner, was one of those opportunities. I was working at the University of California at Y campus in California, of course, and I was talking with several people, and essentially I discovered that Michael J. Prater needed some help to raise a grant because after all the work that they did during the years, they were trying to leverage and modify some computational codes for new hardware accelerators. I knew how to do it. I just presented myself to the door and I created a meeting between my advisor and Michael J. Prater. And essentially, I was put in charge to redesign and develop the codes. We got to the grant, and essentially, I self funded part of my research at the University of California in Irvine for the second PhD in that way. That is just one of the many examples. So you need to go to places, you need to go to people, also because many of those opportunities are not written anywhere. You just need to connect and see how you feel with people and satisfy their needs in a way that, of course, is aligned also to your needs. So go and network a lot, keep a very open mind, and if you have the perspective that the universe will bring you interesting things, just take a look and scan the environment to find out of which they are without preconceptions, and they will simply appear. And after, it's up to you to decide what to pick and choose in ways that make you fulfilled and allow you to proceed in the directions that you want, even if maybe in a way different from what you planned initially.
Wow, wonderful. Fully loaded information. We cannot dissect everything now, but we have picked what is very essential there. Thank you so much for sharing that very experience with us. We are coming back with the last question before we open floor for the participant. Now, to Dr. Swagataroy, something amazed me about your career line. You, you have become a master of laboratory research from the scratch, because I couldn't imagine you join a lab or you have a course to join a lab that is not even aligned with your core area of research, which is the leukemia, which was specifically about COVID-19. And you join the team, you build the laboratory, not even in your own environment, in another environment from the scratch. And you were able to work on 8.2 million samples. Wow. Wow. That is a very huge knowledge and also the practical weight of experience that I would like you to share with our participants. How did it happen? What was the magic? Dr. Roy?
Yeah. So yeah, it was to be honest, it was sometime amazed me as well that how did we do it? And definitely, I'll not take the full credit that I have done everything. It was a team effort, as you can imagine, and it's in a huge scale. Just to kind of give you a taste or hint of it, like almost in November, December 2021, we used to receive 60 to 70,000 samples per day. So and so to start with, when we, as I mentioned earlier, that when I joined in that particular government laboratory, it was just a kind of a big huge warehouse, and that there was intention to turn that into a COVID testing lab. um, And so initially, it was quite, as I mentioned, it was quite hard from us because we had to kind of liaise with different aspects. It is not only just putting the some instruments, because as we know that COVID samples, it is a kind of I would say contagious to people. So we have to be very, very careful about the health and safety aspect. And in UK, it is quite and many other countries actually, that it is quite strict about health and safety wise. So we have to be very, very kind of I'll say tight on that aspect. So we have kind of like we have done it, I'll say, in a step by step process. So first we're building the lab. We have to kind of see that, okay, where in a lab, like how to basically how to organize the whole lab so that we can process. We had a target of 100,000 samples per day. So based on that, like how to process that samples in a more organized way. So we have divided the whole site into total eight lanes, or lines we used to call them as. And each line has a capacity to deal with 25K samples per day, in that sense. So, but initially we started only 4 lines because it was very short time. And also we divided that each line, as I mentioned, into 4 different groups, like sample processing, first sample receipt, then sample processing, RNA extraction, and then qPCR or ePCR, we used to call them, and then data analysis. So as I mentioned, we had a lot of planning beforehand. And from my research background, as you correctly mentioned, that like I had completely different background as a leukemia. But when I was doing that, I had kind of quite a lot of experience in managing people, managing a lab, or kind of dealing with different instruments, and also kind of training people. So these small experience kind of helped me in doing this COVID-19 project as well, because there also we just can't hire people and then ask them to start processing the samples. So we had a kind of a long training process as well in that, and very strict training process. So there also we have kind of made a separate team for training people, who were scientists, senior scientists we used to get, or we used to recruit. So we used to first, they had to go through this training station first, and then they used to come to the lab, and then it was a kind of rigorous training. So that's why kind of from this previous my research experience, although it was not on COVID, but also from the different things, but I used to handle quite a lot of patient samples during my PhD, and also during my postdoc. So I had that kind of that experience or expertise. I will say that, okay, how to deal with it, how to mainly keep the quality and health and safety both together and intact for those samples. So like that slowly we kind of started processing samples. Initially we used to process only like 5K, 7K, like that, and slowly we build up, and then we started processing almost 60 to 70,000 samples per day. And as I mentioned, it was not only just my effort, but it was I was a kind of forefront, definitely, but it was a kind of team effort, and there were a lot of colleagues and a lot of people who were kind of in the same level like me. So we had worked through kind of like I used to work mainly in the night time, or my shift was on the night, during the night time. And then at night time, I'll say that management people or the admin people, not very many people used to be aware. So it was kind of laid all the responsibilities to us, that how if some problem happens or any instrument breaks down, now what to do and how to kind of go through it. So that as I mentioned, that I had from my previous experience, that I had this kind of technical knowledge, about some of the instruments, or how to deal with the problems or problem solving skills. So that helped me quite a lot in this particular lab. So that's how we came up. And then when everything was kind of, I will say, settled a little bit, the lab was set up and running, and that was and then from there, no turning back, and it was kind of keep going. And we used to receive, and we have got quite a good support from the government as well, like resource wise, instrument wise, facility wise. And it was a great success. So yeah, so that is kind of, I'll say, my stories. And only thing I can mainly for the student, I will say that don't stick to your own area or own niche. Kind of try to explore yourself, or go beyond your boundaries, I will say, and exploit yourself basically, and then so that you'll get to know more and you'll know your power, or your I'll say that what to say that what is the right word, your potential in not only just a small area or niche, but how you can help or go beyond your expertise. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Wow. Dr. Roy, thank you so much for that very wonderful experience shared. Yes, let's go to Dr. Bano. Something I found is that you are a multi-talented researcher and also scholar. You actually join uh, a fresh team from your background, move around, and also conduct the training to put everything in order, develop the curriculum, and also develop the modules, the training, put everything in shape, and also even dive into the idea of entrepreneurship, making them know the values of what the research is also all about. And you don't stop there. You are helping the system to discover the talent of individuals. Like, oh, this person is just here, but he's not fit here. He's not fit into this very role. Let's put him or her into this very role, and everything started working together. How did you discover all those different talents and put everything together to shape your career? And what are the skills that we can actually key into from your own experience? Thank you.
Yes, Dr. Shahid, actually, whatever Dr. Swagata and Dr. Foster says, it's 100% true. As Dr. Swagata just mentioned that you should not only stick to your niche, you should move further. Like what I'm doing right now, like the training and the publication, intellectual property coordination, it's not actually my training. I didn't get the degree for that. I was a structural bioinformatician since start. I did my bachelor's in this, I did my master's in this. I was totally like cheminformatics, computational biology, computational biophysics. I deals with the molecular dynamic simulations, talkings, and all this. But as I mentioned earlier, I didn't stick to my education only. I was working in extracurricular curricular a lot. And I mentioned a few times, like I worked in these things, and I joined many clubs. So the training, these are the things that you did not get the degrees of. These are the things that you learn throughout your journey. Like if I say, if you consider these are just 3 degrees, like bachelor's, master's, and PhD. But to get these degrees, I have been in so many uh, labs, getting the experiences. I different kind of peoples. Like if I talk about my bachelor's, I didn't just do the bioinformatics. I did the molecular biology. I worked with the plant sciences, agriculture sciences, crop sciences, and learn everything that I could get my hands on. And when you go there, and in every lab, if you show your insight and you show the willingness, people give you the chance to learn the thing. So I always show my willingness to learn more things. So if I recall, I was working in NIPCHI, which was the one of the best institute, one of the best lab, which is producing actually the basmati rice, the fertilizers, all these things. And I showed my willingness, and they teach me all the things that are being happened in the lab. And every group leader, they were just taking me with them and showing me how to do this thing. And even we generated the competence cells that after that, I was just an intern, and the competence cells that I generated were being used by those leaders as well, because those were very nice. It all depends on the leadership. Then moving further, basically the thing I'm working on is not the academia, it's the industry. So we are preparing people for the industry. So the person who are coming to me, they are coming for the industry experience. But sometimes it's a good idea to just throw the person in the sea so he can learn swimming. But sometimes he just drown and kill himself. I remember last year there was one person who wasn't so willing to learn, or he wasn't getting fit in any way. And my director, he said, like, just do something with it. Like, he's not so happy with that. But I train the person, as I say, if it's not if the tree is not giving mangoes, it's something else. So I train the person in a different way, and I train the person in a different way, and the person is the first one who is producing the very nice research paper. And afterward, she joined the police section, the forensic department. And like, I knew where to target, which thing to target, and how to guide. Sometimes some people need each things to be given the guidance about. Sometimes they just need the one headline and they know what to do. But once you teach the people each step, then they learn everything, and then they do different things, different projects following those steps. So you give them the guidelines. Right now, when something hits you, like I say, it doesn't belongs to what was my areas of expertise, which was structural bioinformatics. I studied this where it was needed. Skills are there always. If a person is PhD, he can do everything. He can do anything. He can fit in anything. Because basically, the one thing when I was in America, I noticed that the people who I saw so many people who are like done the electrical engineering, but they are accountants. They are in the management positions, and so many times I see people with the MBAs, and they are saying they're in the position of some engineer. So this is a very strange thing. I can ask them questions. Why is that? Like, you're totally like, you're an engineer by education, and you're in the totally like project management section, or the some people are accountant. And the people told me, in America we do not study to get a job exactly in our niche. The education system here is just the to teach you, you can learn, just teach you to learn. So when you go in the industry, they give you 3 months or 6 months training to do a work. So the education doesn't define who you're gonna be. If you have done the electrical engineering, it doesn't bound you to be only the electrical engineer and just look for the jobs that are electrical engineer. Same, I learned this thing, it just stick in my mind. And I didn't just stop there. So when I came in UAE, I didn't look for the computational biology jobs. I did for the other jobs. Then I got the job, I proved myself, and now I'm the head of academics and training section. It's like, it's so you have to uh, pave your own journey, but learn from the other people. See how they are, like, learn what they are doing, how they are doing, and how they shift. And the shift is really not the tough thing. It's very easy because you know everything, you can do it. There is nothing our PhD cannot do, I believe, because you just put them in anywhere. They can do the project management, they can head the department, they can do a marketing research, they can do lots of things because they have rigorous training, like you can say 15 years of training in education and the research section. All these skills, these are the skills that make me to be here. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Wow. I think each of our participants will have, I don't know, extracted volumes of uh, knowledge domain here today. I can't go over what we have discussed, but I know that we are going to have a session for our participants to actually pour their mind next week, because we are actually piling up all the guests' presentations and also idea sharing. Then we will have a private session at the end of the month where the participants are going to talk about them, then discuss. And if we have issue, we will come back to the guest scholars to actually handle. So thank you so much for that. And Yes, finally, the final question, because of our time, the final question is going to talk about opportunities. Something I have noticed about the global scholars' experience is that they are mobile. They don't stick to one domain. Like I am working at the Oxford University, and that is where I am going to work. That's where I'm going to grow. That's where I'm going to die. That's where I'm going to retire or resign or something. So it is a cost. There is always a cost to move based on the opportunities, based on the resources, based on the new trend of development or issues that are actually bothering the global society. And on that, the career mobility and also the aspect of the opportunities in this modern society. What do you have to say to our participants to actually pay attention to, Dr. Fausto Atiku?
Yes, I think that mobility is very important. Definitely, if you stay in your discipline and do not interface with other ones, probably you are not going far. Like Dr. Shanner was saying, it is important that you interface with other teams because really the synergies for funding and or big impact, at least in my experience, are always coming at the intersection of multiple disciplines. So you cannot be a domain, sorry, knowledge expert of all of them, and therefore you need to partner up with other people. And sometimes there is simply the need to fill some roles that another one that you were planning take on that could be of interest for you. So don't be scared to learn, as Dr. Shahar was saying, and take a more proactive approach. Sometimes those roles can be completely different and maybe you feel uncomfortable. So you can try to get a role that is nearby to your domain knowledge of expertise. So to start to transition during time from role to role. But definitely, I do not know at this point in time of any person that is successful and stays and does the same thing that he or she did during the PhD only. You need to continue to learn. We are living in an information knowledge society. There is plenty that you can do, as Dr. Shahar was saying. Uh, be willing, be enthusiastic, say clearly to people that you don't know what you don't know so they can help you to grow in the role because at the end they need help and they're happy to help and it's more about you what you want to do with your life. So if you go and proceed with the mentality related to abundance and you shape your life like art, you can be much more aligned and enthusiastic and have things unlocking in a way that is uplifting for you. And that is my way to say that compared to 30, 40, 50 years ago, where you were joining a company, staying with that company your whole life and retire, today, that kind of mobility that Dr. Shahid was saying is the way to go. Every 2 years, 3 years maximum, try to change so that in 10 years' time you have such broad understanding of how things work that from an holistic point of view, you start to develop an intuition of how to make things to work. That is a very important skill, very researched by many companies because that is essentially what they need in this fast changing, moving world that is going to only accelerate further and where we need people that are willing essentially to jump on different shoes and take on different roles even if they don't know anything right away because it's not anymore enough to get the education that we were getting during our degrees. It's more important to have a way of thinking that can be applied to many different things and develop that kind of way of thinking and doing that is important considering that we don't know what is coming in 3, 5, 10 years time from the technological point of view, political point of view, economic point of view. But essentially, no matter what comes, if you are able to react and assess and modify things accordingly and make them work, that is all what you need to land on your feet every time and be able to create even a community that sees you as a leader or help people in a way that makes them to live a more fulfilling life, and therefore again rise the opportunity for many different countries around the world to decide how to shape and create the future instead of just reacting and absorbing whatever is coming. So, long story short, you can do whatever you want. You can go there and make it happen gradually, shifting. And I'm pretty sure there are plenty of people that can help you if you just ask, and that are very happy to help you out to create the kind of life that you want. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much. And straight to Dr. Swagata Roy.
Yeah, so kind of, yeah, as Dr. Article said correctly, that you have to explore yourself, and then same thing, I would like to also say the same thing. You have to explore yourself. You have to go beyond the boundaries, basically. If you are just kind of stick to in the one or wants to stick into your own position or don't want to go beyond the boundaries, then it's up to you. But if you want to really kind of get success in life, I think you have to go beyond the boundaries and explore the opportunities that is waiting for you. And nowadays I think it is I'll say very easy due to or because of the social media networks like LinkedIn and ResearchGates and many other gates, where easily it is kind of accessible, sitting onto your own comfort, and to collaborate as well, and then get different ideas. And as exactly said by Dr. Artico, that to collaborate, and if you don't know something, you just explore that who knows about it, and talk to that person or link with that person, and then get the ideas and get things done, or even kind of writing a small grant or some small collaborative projects. And nowadays I think people are open to all these things. So um, uh, and if you are, and the main thing is if you are willing to, because I have seen many people who staying in the same organizations for maybe 15 years or 20 years, and doing the same work, and the reason being they are kind of feel comfortable in their in their own zone. So they don't want to explore the things, they don't want to know anything more. But if you're really willing to do something, if you are really explore yourself, if you want to know your own potential, you have to explore, you have to go beyond the boundaries. That will be, I think, my suggestion. And nowadays, as I mentioned, that there are a lot of opportunities, and there are a lot of funding bodies, there are a lot of kind of research bodies that you can explore, you can go beyond. And also another thing is, as you are conducting these kind of programs, I think which is really really appreciated and valuable, not only for the aspiring students, for the others also, to contact with each other and know their areas. So if I know that, okay, I'm not very good at bioinformatics or informatics or biostatistics, then I can kind of approach to Dr. Banu, and then, okay, say, okay, I'm having this problem, so can you please give me the answer or solution? So yeah, you have these opportunities, to through these social medias and this networking. So yeah, I think make it short and sweet, that I think that is the message, that just explore yourself. And nowadays it is very very easy due to the social media or social networking. So yeah, that's it from my side. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. And let's go straight to Dr. Sahil Banu.
Yes, and Dr. Shahid, actually, these days, this is the era of artificial intelligence. And I say, uh, my message will be for the youngsters that are just defining their career. They should be, they should make themselves expert in artificial intelligence, use of AI, use of machine learning, regardless of their niche, regardless of their project, their education. If a person is in the education sector, he should be aware and expert in artificial intelligence, the use of all these things. He should be aware of, because, one thing is, if I talk about the education, if you know, there are so many tools now available that can enhance your capabilities, your work 3 times, 300 times quickly. Like now, one thing you were doing in 5 days, with the use of AI, you can do it in 1 hour. So get the expertise in the AI. For example, if the person is in education and the training, you can get the training, you can include the augmented reality in your training. You can enhance it. You want to do the market research, what you need to be expert in. For example, the person has done the bachelor's, but he still is confused what he is going to do. Just land somewhere, land as an entry job somewhere, and he will realize what he is interested in. By doing or by selecting your degree title, you are not going to get where you want to be because you don't even know where you want to be. And neither I was confirmed about what I want to be. It's like you have to explore so many ways. Just do it, just start doing it. But now, the main thing I would say, everything has been actually done by Dr. Foster, Dr. Swagata. Right now, which was missing is artificial intelligence. Do not leave it. The next era is more bound to AI. So if you want to not to be replaced by AI, start using it. Enhance yourself. Like you can say that you are the person who actually can use the AI in a best way. You know, the salary of prompt engineer, just check the salary of prompt engineer. These are the people who did not get any degree, but they know how to use the AI and they are being paid like the crazy amount. So take the help of AI, learn from the people around you, ask for help. So many times people are not available to answer you, but once they are available, they will just send them reminder. But really ask for the people, ask people for the help, and then use the AI in your all everything. Thank you.
Wow, that is one of the magic of the day. Thank you so much. Yes, let us open the uh, panel or the space for the participants now. Yes, let us have your contribution, your comments, and also
session. I consider it extremely very rich. Success, they said, if you avoiding pressures or you are avoiding pressure, you cannot succeed or you cannot win. The question I just want to ask is, what were the pressures and what are the steps, or how did they overcome pressures, and what are the pressures in the path of success? Then can any of them summarize how were they able to overcome the pressures leading to this success in their academic success, especially to the young scholars? There are pressures, and there's that saying that if you are avoiding pressures, you can never succeed. You can never win. So that's my question.
thank you, sir. Yes, any other question before we take it on? Any other comments?
The first one. The second one, we talk about the career mobility, which is very important. And I look myself as an example. At what point in time do we take decisions to leave? Possibly, maybe we are in a kind of employment, and we look at it that we've saved for, let's say, example, we are to stay for a kind of 6 months probationary period, and after that probationary period, you've not even started getting anything from that employment. You just take the decision, I want to go, and you move on. And you look at some of our young people that are taking such decisions, and they end up not actually doing well compared to those people that actually endure with that employment. They are able to stay for a certain period before they take decisions to move on. So I just want to learn from our guest speakers today. At what point in time should we take decisions to actually move in our career path? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, next comments. or question from a participant. We will take 2 more, then we close the session for today. We will take 2 more. If we have any other, oh yes, Dr. Flavius Unkuli.
Good morning, respected scholars, and thank you very much, our uncle, Dr. Shahid, for yet another insightful session. The question I wanted to ask the immediate past participant just asked part of it about mobility, scholar mobility. Mine is not actually with respect to maybe complete transfer or movement from one institution to another. In terms of like short-term visits and experiences and things like that, visiting and all that, how can we really encourage that among scholars or maybe industry experience, as some of our people have expressed? You observe that in our country, particularly, sometimes our pattern of training is unilateral to some extent. The academic industry partnership is not really there, and mobility will help us to articulate some of these ideas so as to domesticate them in our local context. How can we really enhance that? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Yes, the last person is somebody raised hand now. The last person, I think Aima.
Thank you very much. Good morning, all. So I will just clap.
Okay, thank you. Yes, thank you so much. Yes,
thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes, because of our time, we are going to summarize everything, and let me first answer the question about the scholars' presentations and something. You see, what we name this very program is a Scholars and Leaders Support Program. So whatever individual scholars and leaders, we deliberately make the leaders inclusive. We don't want to make it focus on only scholarship, because we have, like when we open the session, because we have so many leaders that are not scholars, that's why majority of the countries are in problem. And when we have scholars that we don't have leadership training or perspective of it, that's the reason why majority of the university and even institutions and even research institutions and even majority of our professors are having problems, not being able to solve any problem in the society except what they are focusing on. So we are combining the two. Whether you are an engineer, whether you are a politician, whether you are a scientist, whether you are a researcher, even whether you are just working on your own as a businessman. If you listen to the presentation of our global guests, you are going to pick something from it. Like you have been able to pick from the aspect of a career mobility. Not only when you are working in an institution or in a government institution that you will move. Even in business, there is focused mobility. Because if you are not mobile, the world is fast changing. But the person that is going to take the decision will know the environment where he is operating. We know the principle that guides his own operation. We know how the environment works before you can take a decision to move. Like for example, in some university, the first 2 years you are on probation. You can't move when you are on probation. You have to establish yourself and gain a focus of a permanent appointment or something before you can now think of, okay, how do you, and in some instances, in some cases, you don't move. You go visiting, you come back. That's the reason why everybody needs to understand how the system works and what are the things that guide where someone is actually working before you can take certain decisions. But we have created this very platform to learn from other perspectives, because what is operating in Africa is not operating in Europe. What is operating in Europe is not what is operating in America. Like Dr. Banos shared, that the experience she gained in America was different from the experience he is meeting on ground when he arrived UAE. And she is from Pakistan. So, because each environment, each of the region has their own specifics. But when you are moving, you are learning to add up the quality of how you can deliver and make yourself the best as the world reference for what you are doing. So that's something like that. So the last thing that we also talk about is the line of communication. Somebody has from the message that a line of communication. The line of communication is actually the reason why we have created this very platform. I was somehow opportune. I have the opportunity to work with the global reputable scholars to create myself, to build myself, and also have the knowledge and the exposure to connect. So the lack of communication is the right platform. Once you don't have the right platform, that's the reason why before you join any association or any club or any network, you need to look at the people that are there. Are there people that can help your career? Are there people that can propel you to where you want to go to? Once you don't find the kind of people there, then you step down. You don't join the association because you just want to join association. You just want to belong. You just want to associate. Like Dr. Swagata Roy said, or even Dr. Atiku said, social media and also the LinkedIn is the best platform to explore. Build yourself, connect yourself to the people that you know align with your vision. So I think these are the brief that I have to say about that. But the critical one that I will push to our global guests to respond to. And if they want to talk on other ones, yes, it is a welcome, is the pressure. The pressure, we have talked about it before, but I think we can still summarize it now. Pressure and how did they overcome it? Because it is not easy that you have to focus to accomplish something at different levels. It is pressure. How did they manage it? And I think this very question cut across all the presentation. So let me start with Dr. Sahir Bano. Dr. Sahir Bano, pressure and the management from your own experience.
Yes, pressure management. Actually, this should be in your skill set how you manage your pressure. Number one, there is nothing you need to be pressurized about. And some people say, okay, believe in yourself and have confidence in yourself. You should be composed in every situation. Yes, you should be, because the second you lose your confidence and you lose the game. So confidence is the key. The person next to you is also a human being like you. If he looks confident, it means he has been to situations and he learned to be in his calm. So be confident. Everything. First, you will see the different thing on your table like a task. You will say, for example, if I talk about my experience, in the FRC, of course. As I say, when I joined, it was the center was starting. So I was given a task to align the instrument list and design of all the labs in a center, like characterization lab, environment lab, molecular biology lab, marine lab, and in vitro lab. So basically, the FRC is dealing with different domains: camel research, racing camel research, their health research, then honey and honeybee products. Because in Fujairah, we are producing the best honey in the world, I would say, because it won so many awards. Then the marine research, then the plant research. So I have been given this task to do it. At first, I didn't even understand what this email means. Like, because totally different to me. I have no experience in doing this, but of course I have been to so many labs, so I knew that, like, being in the labs give me an idea what kind of instrument should be there, what kind of project needs which kind of instruments. So first I asked one colleague, read this email, do you understand anything? And he was like, I don't understand anything. So I was so clueless. But what happened, I talked to the person who gave me this task. I just asked him, could you elaborate further? I didn't just say, no, I can't do this and do all the stuff. No, I just asked him, could you elaborate, please? And this was a very new thing to ask a person to elaborate. Usually the brain was like, oh, you're given a task, just do it. Regardless, how can you manage, just do it. So I asked the person, how could you elaborate? He elaborated, I need these things. Still, I could understand. I start one thing, created one thing, showed him. He said, oh, I need this thing in this way. And he gave me one example. Things were clear. Like, I did um, I helped and of course coordinated the instrument listing in all the 5 labs, all the and in the in the lab the construction is very different. In the start you have to be very careful where the sample goes, where the contamination area, where is the contamination free area. So these all things I took the help of internet, I took the help of my brain that I spent in the different labs. I realized, I recalled, oh, where this thing was, where this thing was, where the laminar flow was, where the sample collection area was. So I combined everything, put in the drawing, and provided. Of course, then the professional came and they did everything, and then but the instrument list and everything, the location of the instrument, where the each instrument and each big instrument like the laminar flow, safety cabinet, where this should be, I helped it organizing it. And this was further confirmed by the people who are owning the who are going to lead the labs. So it's like I've been given the task that was totally out of my scope or out of my experience, but now I got the experience. Like I got the experience to, if someone says, you ask me to design a lab, I can do that now. I know all the dynamics of the labs. And not only this, then I learned that how to procure it, like not to procure, of course, like to get the quotations. This is also a science, but I now know that how to contact the providers, how to get the quotations, how to finalize the quotation, because I have been in some meetings with the procurement team. So I realized now my brain is like learned everything. It's a very important thing to learn about the labs, its settlement, it's who is the provider, who is the best provider, what is the dynamics of the procurement. If in the start they gave me the task and I would say, and I got hesitated and I got my confidence just say no, because I won't do this, I will fail, I wouldn't have learned all these things. But now I uh, showed myself like I need to do it. Just do it, like regardless, you can do it right. No, just dig in. So I ask for help. I ask for further clarification. Sometimes you do not understand the question. You know the answer, but sometimes the formulation of the question is different. So if you don't know, just ask for the guidance. Sometimes the guidance, and in my experience, all these led to give me the experience that now I'm the individual that can do the task that I was few months ago hesitant to even think about. So this is a thing. Just say yes to the opportunities you're having, and then rest is not your job. You just do your job that you can do in your own capacity. Then rest can be done by itself. Thank you.
That is another magic. That is another magic. Opportunity, just say yes and learn along the way. So no pressure. That should be the cause for pressure. Learn along the way, then you become the master. Thank you so much. Yes, Dr. Also Atiko. Pressure and the management of it.
Yes. Especially if you think that running situations are difficult, I think that gathering different perspectives is important. So let me try to explain. Early in life, I was working an incredible number of hours to pull and make things to happen in the way that I think was right. Today, if I could go back, I would try to have a much more work-life balance, because I think that having a family, having other activities outside work helps to reduce that kind of pressure. So it's not always true that doing more and spending more time in doing what you need to do is the best way of achieving what you need to do. As I was growing up, I think that having other hobbies, having time scheduled to decompress, do things that you like, be with people that you love, allows you to start to see things in a very creative, lateral way compared to the classical one, and therefore to find solutions that are much more simpler and elegant than the one that you thought initially, and that would be very difficult to implement, and therefore reduce the pressure in that way compared to the original plan. That is my advice. Try to bring and have other activities in life that are not only related to work, even if the tendency maybe of some of you is to do more, to just to get through what you need to get through, because that really open perspectives that are helping you to not to manage the pressure, but simply to make the pressure to melt away, so that you realize that in life there are also other things that maybe is important for you to experience, and therefore put in perspective that what you were thinking is difficult is not difficult at all compared to what other people are going through, and or how you can live life, especially with a family that can help you to develop creative solutions that you initially did not think about. And same to talk with people, same to talk with events. If you are a party person and you like networking, or if you like to go to the beach or playing and singing, I found many solutions to things that I was thinking impossible just during those moments of relaxations, instead of uh, hanging in the lab during the night, even if I did that too, especially early in life, like Swagata Roy was saying, because you need to somehow produce some results. But as soon as you can get away of that, I would really advise for you to have a more work life balance, because that makes things much more simple, and makes you more happy in ways that you cannot really imagine if you are very young, probably at the moment. So thank you very much. That is my advice and my personal experience, at least, of what
Wow.
happened in my life.
Wow, wow, thank you. And straight forward to the Dr. Swagata Roy.
Yeah, so very, very, I'll say, interesting point or interesting question. Pressure, because pressure is everywhere and to everyone. It is not only science, arts, or whoever is just working, they have a pressure. Even like whoever is not working, they also have a pressure. Like, okay, how to get a money, how to run the family, or that kind of pressure, you know. So, so pressure is everywhere. So if you think about it, it'll be more pressurized. So my kind of I'll say thinking in that way is number one, as Dr. Banu said, like be confident that yeah, you can do approach, you know, you can do things, and all the power is within you. And another thing, I do it, or I kind of follow it, I'll say. In Japan, they follow a process called Kaizen, Kaizen. So what is it? Is this kind of, you know, taking a small step to make something big. So if you think like, okay, you someone told you to, you know, walk for 10 miles for something to, or to achieve something, if you think in the start that, oh my God, how can I walk 10 miles? But if you think, okay, let me at least start and then do maybe 100 meters or 200 meters or 500 meters, and then go again from there. So like step by step, small baby steps, and then you can reach to the final destination. So pressure, as I said, pressure is everywhere. But if you think about it, it'll be more pressurized. So it is better, don't think about it, but work on it. Try to solve. Okay, if you're facing any problem, or if you're facing any hurdle, so how to overcome it? What is the solution? If you don't have the solution, explore. As I mentioned, that nowadays it is very easy. If you don't, if you are having a problem, you can ask into your own department or into your own colleagues. If not, go beyond, explore the social media. And nowadays, even in Facebook, I have seen, like, if someone is having any problem, they kind of just write a question and you get hundreds of reply that, okay, do this, do this, do this. So, you know, so, and every problem has a solution. So yeah, don't get pressurized at all, because even if you're doing masters, bachelors, PhD, especially even after post PhD, postdoc, or even in job, you have pressure every step. So if you keep thinking about it, that okay, I'm pressurized, okay, I can't do it, then you really can't do it. What you can say that yes, you have to have believe in yourself and confidence that yeah, I can achieve, and then take small steps to go or to reach that destination. I think that will be my point, to be honest. And I think Dr. Banu and Dr. Artika has almost covered the rest of the talk that I was thinking of. So yeah, I think again, take baby steps, small steps, follow the Kaizen rule, and even I follow the same, and I think it takes off kind of a lot of pressure from my side, because as I mentioned that when I kind of joined that lab, that COVID lab. So it was a huge pressure on everyone of all the leaders, because within a short period of time we had to do so many things. But yeah, so it was everyone's help, everyone's collaboration, thinking ahead. Don't take too much pressure, because if you take too much pressure, it will collapse. So instead of that, try to distribute it, try to kind of be more organized, talk to people, take the suggestions from others, and then just do it. Just do it. That's it. That is the simple solution. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. And now I want to sincerely welcome our dear global hosts. We are happy to see you today. That is a Dr. Renuka Thakur. She is based in UK, and he is the founder of the GSFN, the platform that is giving us a platform to write this very platform into the global world. Thank you so much for joining us, and let me officially tell you that we have our global guests here that have been doing wonderful work since we started, since the beginning of January. And now we have Dr. Fosu Atiko from UK today, and we have Dr. Sahir Bano from UAE today. Dr. Bano, can you on your camera for Dr. Renuka Thakur, our global host? And also we have Dr. Swagata Roy, also from UK. Dr. Sagata, yes, these are amazing, wonderful leaders and scholars that are engaging us today. We had Engineer Yewa Mohammed last week. Engineer, can you on your camera, please? And we have Dr. Akinlabi Mohammed on our feature session. Can you on your camera, please? And we have Dr. Flavius Ukubli, also from Nigeria, Maiduguri University. Can you on your camera, please? And yes, I saw some of our colleagues from Uganda, from Egypt, and also Pakistan that are here. Yes, our dear host, Dr. Renuka Thakur, your speech, ma.
Thank you. Thank you very much, enthusiastic host, Dr. Shahid, and welcome everyone from all over the world. And I'm so grateful that you are making some time to contribute to all our, co-created workshops and these programs. So I thought that we could anytime be on Everest. And when Hillary made it, everyone thought that, yes, we can make it. And after that, many of them made it. So it is something like you have to be confident, even if there is a heap of burdens or pressures around you, you will be able to overcome them with your confidence. And also, do not shy off in taking support, as already mentioned by them, that yes, I have found Google performance very wonderful. Like I always write down something, even the medical tips, or if it is my even if my sentence structure, I do write down there, and I find amazing tips coming up. So yes, it is about and also networking is very, very important here. Networking, connecting with people, connecting with the seniors as well as juniors. Like if you think that someone is early starter, do connect with them, because you will get innovative ideas, and you will come across like very different questions they have, and you will think, okay, how can I answer this person? And you will get a new knowledge out of it. So it is about networking and sharing your knowledge, and becoming more and more, resourceful on your side. So thank you very much, everyone, for being here, and we will continue this. I want to make another announcement. I did make, maybe I've not made here. And we are taking this program now worldwide. So the idea is that GSFN is going to have relay summits. Relay summits means we are having summits every month in different nations. And we are hosting, like we will have a host nation and other global South nations supporting that summit. So this year, between 25 and 31st of January, we are having a summit in Pakistan. It is going to be in hybrid mode. In a sense, like we have plenty of organizations and universities joining us from Pakistan and the rest of the world. So what will they do? They will gather their own local people at their own place and they will join through Zoom. So probably we can say that in one window of like as if I am joining, but I will have my 50 people here in local room to listen to you and so on, and they will also contribute to our discussions. So that is how we want to multiply our reach as well as contribute and impact wider world. And it will also lessen the use of computers as well as lessen the travel carbon emissions. So we want to do it in hybrid mode. It will be every month. This year it will be in Pakistan. Next year it will be in Egypt. And we might bring Arab League in Egypt. So it would be a wider again, like broader. We'll have a broader region. And then we have Kenya, then we have Nigeria, then we have Brazil, Uganda, and then we have South Africa, Vietnam, Turkey, all lined up. So we are trying to develop the Global South capacity in a unique way. Now, in this summit, we will not only have researchers or academics, but we will also have businesses, we will have investors, we have unique people, like we also have a program for kids, we have also program for adults, women, and everyone who can play a role for our better society. So that is what we are going to embark on, and I would like you all to make some or the other efforts in this. And we have another very parallel scheme, like how we can reward these all people who are going to contribute to the world. And we have started voluntary schemes. So in that voluntary scheme, we will ask you to fill up your voluntary form, and you can put up, you can decide on a role, and then whatever the hours you have put in, and the skills that you have displayed or gained through that role, we will provide you these certificates so that you can use it for your personal and career development. So that is where we want to go. Also, you are all invited, first of all, to join GSFN, because that is free and worldwide, and you will get hundreds and hundreds of opportunities to tap into. Again, there is a accreditation and rewarding system in this as well. When you join, you get a unique chair badge for yourself of your own expertise. You don't have to do anything, but continue to do your work, thinking of an impact to the society. At the end of the year, we have annual conference where we ask you to fill up self-nomination form, and we try to make you reflect on your activities throughout the year. And then on the face value, we give out bronze, silver, gold, and platinum awards. And in that way, we allow you to take the ownership of your own expertise, as well as we accredit you for the work you have done for the society, not only for GSFN, but for the society. So that is how we are trying to encourage people to be more impactful for and grateful as well for the position they hold in the society. So thank you very much for listening to me. Maybe we can all can open the window and we can take a group picture today, if that is possible, please.
Of programs apart from this one that are in the pipeline, and also I will be in touch regularly with our global guests to also look at how we can also work together on some other programs. Yes, Chairman, the global chair, Dr. Abdul Manaf, said that we should continue this very program, and is also thinking about if we have any member participants that are having one project or the other, we should be putting them together. So at the end of the first quarter, we are going to have a pitch of idea or project presentation where there will be opportunity for people to have the funding access to their projects. And I think this is one of the opportunities that Dr. Renuka Takora and also our guests are also mentioning, that in the global networking, there are so many opportunities that anybody can have access to. So that is what the global chair has asked me to say today in this session. And we have taken our time and we want to sincerely thank all our global guests for pouring their heart and also share their wealth of experiences as huge as it is or as they are. And we have learned a lot from it. And I will call on one of our coordinator here to also give us the closing remarks and thank everybody. Then we are going to meet in the private session next week. Mr. Yamiu Omotosho.
Okay, thank you so much. It's been a very rewarding session, but an enlightening one at that we have global scholars from different continents here sharing their wealth of experience with us. We really appreciate your time. We've learned a lot from this engagement. The fact that for us, we are mobile human. As human beings, we are all mobile. We should see mobility in whatever we do. We should be able to, at some point, determine that, okay, this course of life, I need to have changes. So a lot has been said, a lot has been disseminated. So it's important we take good note of that. As also someone that is speaking, I had the background in IT. I had my MBA, and I've been an IT expert for a couple of years. So this is something that speaks to reality. This is really things that speak to reality about our lives. So I would like us to talk to our various people. We need to have more people with the same mindset, so that when next we are gathering, we have a lot of people to benefit from this wealth of experiences. We really appreciate you all. Dr. Sarabano, Dr. Swageta Roy, Dr. Foster Atiko, and our own host, Dr. Said. You are all appreciated and we thank you a lot. Thank you so much and do have a great day ahead.